What's up, Vankers?
Hello, Vankers.
How is everybody doing?
How are you doing? Have you loved our interview with the Queen, Nicole? Welcome to all of our new subscribers, people taking an interest. Listen, we thought that our interview with Danny Rick was going to be big. We thought that having Guenther Steiner on the podcast was going to be the thing that changed everything. No, dude. Nicole Piastri, the biggest heavy hitter in the Formula One space. And we got our huge thanks to Nicole for coming on the pod.
Yeah, big MVP shout out. It's a game changer.
Dude, people, people want to hear from her. People are fascinated with what she has to say, and she gave a great interview. She gave insights into Oscar. You know, it's this year. The rest of this year is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy to watch this kid in in real time. Having now talked to her, and with my loyalties being also slightly to Lando, I'm caught between a rock and a very hard place. And that
Brian,
hard place
the fact that it's even a toss up at this point is crazy.
Well, I'm just feeling my love for Lando kind of seep out of my body because my love for Oscar is seeping in, and there's a struggle there.
Brian, can you love someone who doesn't love themselves? Is the question. You know, I've said this before in relationships. Can you pour water into an empty glass?
Right.
Sometimes you pour your love into a glass that's got cracks and holes in it. And, you know, last minute before we got on this podcast, we're like, oh, my God, we have to watch the face challenge.
Right, yeah.
We got to watch the face try to keep up with the times.
The F1 media, what are people talking about? I've seen all these pictures of people's faces. What's going on with the face challenge? And,
right. So right before we came on, because we're talking about the news today, that's what we're doing. We're talking about F1 news.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest news is the news that we created ourselves, that we got Nicole Piastri on the podcast. Yep. She's won the offseason so far. Adrian Newey. No,
Newey.
Nicole Piastri is the news of the offseason so far. But another, so we're watching this face mash clip, and the one thing I'm seeing is how sad he looks, how miserable he's like. That's Joe, that's Sergio, I mean, Oscar Piastri is fucking Jim Carrey next to this guy now. It's crazy.
Lando's down, dude. Lando's down. He's feeling down. And when am I going to abandon ship now? When the chips are down?
When Oscar Piastri's mom comes on the pod and lifts us to new heights? She's our Taylor Swift, dude. And she's lifted us to new heights.
Dude, truly, we're just trying to be the Jason. We're just trying to be the Jason
Kelce, right?
To her Taylor Swift, you know,
yeah, exactly.
You know, that's what we're just trying to be. No, I love Oscar Piastri more than I ever did before, and I already liked him a lot. I already loved him a lot, but now I really have a soft spot in my heart for him, even if he doesn't have one for anything other than racing cars.
Being a car. Go listen to that episode. Talk about, in fact, being a car.
Yeah, so go check out that episode. Subscribe to the YouTube if you aren't subscribed yet. This episode, we're going to be discussing a lot of stuff going on in the news. We're going to be discussing
at Nicole Piastri
and follow at Nicole Piastri on Nicole Piastri on Twitter. Obviously, it's the best Twitter account in the game. And if you want the merch that she was wearing on the podcast, you can go to theredflagspod.com and cop yours today. But in this episode, we're going to be discussing everything that's in the news right now. Adrian Newey reported going to Aston Martin. James Vowles talking about how he got Carlos Sainz to sign with Williams, and he talked about how it was like texting someone and dating someone in the early stages. Gotta love when James Vowles just kind of throws that into the mix. The latest, what's going on with Mercedes' open seat, Grill the Grid, more. Wheatley is leaving Red Bull. He's going to Audi.
God.
Everything's going on. Where should we begin?
I guess this Newey news.
Yeah. Well, these Newey rumors.
I love that if it's in Italian, it's just a rumor.
Yeah.
Like, we're so Anglophilic as a society.
Yeah.
Unless it's printed by a reporter that speaks English.
Right.
It is not to be taken seriously. So if it's reported in Italy, if it's reported in, well, Spain did report the Taylor Swift rumors with Alonso, which are true.
Yeah.
Which are true.
Yeah.
No, but remember Beals, the Dutch, remember the Dutch, German, Austrian, whatever the fuck. They were the ones that dropped the Christian Horner thing.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, it's just rumors because it's in Dutch.
Right.
According to rumors, because Italian news is just rumors to us. Adrian Newey is reportedly joining Aston Martin. Recently visited their Silverstone factory months ago. Official announcement expected in September. Supposedly Newey's deal is $100 million for 4 years. Jenny has also seen $400 million for 4 years. According to the Racing
$100 million
News,
for 4 years feels light. Feels light for a guy like that.
That seems like light work.
It seems light.
That seems
25 mil a year? I don't know.
That seems like a bargain.
Seems like a steal. So I would think that it would be more than that if there's anything to be believed within this. Now, part of the discussion, it's interesting you say that people only take it seriously when like the BBC reports on it, or when Sky reports on it, or when the British when the British companies report on it. But part of it is that Aston Martin is like so close to where Newey lives. And maybe that's a part of as he's thinking about this thing, is literally the British bias of the location. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like that's part of the struggle of the Ferrari organization, is that it's in fucking Italy. And so it's a pain in the ass for people who live there to go there.
I was also hearing rumors that Fred Vasseur and Ferrari were not like, Adrian's like, I could come to Ferrari, but you'd have to like let me do I am in charge.
Right.
I get to do whatever I want. I get to show up whenever I want. I get to hire whoever I want. I get exactly what I want. If Ferrari was like, we have Ferrari, and like Fred is like, I have my own ideas about running a team. It's still my team. And I also think it was the race that was saying, Italy has labor laws that are kind of pesky. Mm-hmm. You can't just throw people out, bring people in. It's more of a it's harder to run and gun the way Newey would want to do it.
Right.
Whereas like I feel like Aston Martin's like, yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah, as I heard those rumors, because I trust Fred, I think of Fred as being someone who's got his head on very straight in this game, and I wonder, if that was the case, where Newey was like, well, I want to come here, and these are the circumstances with which I want to come. I want Final Cut, and like sometimes, when you give a great director Final Cut, the films get worse.
Yeah, but
sometimes they do better with the restraints of the studio.
I don't know. I kind of feeling like giving him Final Cut though.
Well, if you're Aston Martin, you give him Final Cut. Right?
Yeah, but if I'm Ferrari, I'm giving him Final Cut. Dude, do you remember? I remember reading this, or I'm now thinking back. They asked him about the car, the Red Bull car, and everyone thought he was like minimizing expectations.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he literally said this. He goes, too conservative. He was like, we did not go bold enough. We decided to improve our package, which is flawed.
Right.
Instead of junking it and trying to like raise the bar.
Yeah.
We've decided that, let's not break what's working.
Right.
And I think that this car might have while it had a higher floor for those first couple of years in terms of ride height.
Literally a higher floor.
It had a higher floor, right. It literally had a higher floor. And it had better suspension. But I think it might ultimately, what we're seeing, it might have a lower ceiling. and that the other cars are starting to like catch Red Bull and maybe even surpass it.
Yeah.
So Newey might have been the one, and you know, Christian Horner and Pierre Wache are kind of like, no. This is a team effort. It's not Team Newey, but I mean, Newey was the guy that emphasized the suspension. He's the only guy that was here for those. I think they did similar. Like he was here. He was the guy he was a designer in F1 when they did the sort of more
first time.
Yeah, porpoising and more floor-based aero.
Yeah, the ground effects.
The ground effects, right.
Yeah.
And so he's the only one that remembers, that has like a living memory of that. And he was like, I think it's going to be all about the suspension. And then he was ready to junk it. He was like, he was ready to junk the thing that he came up with, which is the sign of like a true genius. Like he's not ready to, he's ready to just, he's ready to throw out his piano key necktie and come up with the next thing.
Right.
Because he's got like 9 different piano key neckties, and I don't know the fucking names of all the cars, but they're all piano key neckties.
Yeah.
That's my expert technical analysis.
Yeah, that Adrian Newey's got a ton of piano key neckties, and he's willing to throw them out on a fucking whim because he holds on tightly and lets go lightly, which sometimes you got to do in this game. And you know, for the first half of the season, that would have looked like a dumb idea because they were just dominant there. But now, you know, as the season's playing out, we're seeing that maybe he was the person, you know, loudly, you know, blowing that horn, and now they're paying the price for maybe not listening to him fully, which might have, you know, there were obviously parts of the rumors around like he left because of this, all the chaos that was happening over there, but maybe he was hitting a bit of a wall there where he's like, you guys aren't fucking listening to me as well.
It might have all added up. It might not have been fun anymore.
And I think, he is at the point of his career where he wants Final Cut and if you don't understand what that means, it's just like when you give a director, it's like, you get to say what happens. Like, it's the 3-hour version, the director's cut.
Yeah,
he or she gets to just make the movie whatever the fuck they want.
That doesn't come out 30 years from now. It's like no. That's the one that's going to theaters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Adrian Newey's not like, his son's not driving it around 20 years from now. The car that he would have wanted. It's right now.
Yeah, so I think he wants that. I think he wants that freedom. I think he's not trying to go in there and maybe be in like a system that's going to give him a ton of red tape. As much as, you know, you want to win with Ferrari and you want to whatever the fuck. It's like, well, what's the work experience going to be like actually doing it? Who gives a fuck? But I think he wants Final
Cut. I think he wants Final Cut, and he wants like come in at 11. Like I think it's more than like I think he wants Final
a project.
Cut. No, I think he wants to show up when he wants to show up too.
Oh, I see.
Because like in Red Bull, it seems like he's more of like a floater.
Right.
But now I think he wants to be a floater that floats in and says, no, do it this way. And when I come back, it better be that way. And that's how I want it.
Right. But also I think maybe it speaks to that if this is true, that he wants a bit more of a project. Because look at where Aston is right now. Aston's kind of nowhere. So let's say he goes there, right? Let's say this deal is true. These rumors are to be believed. Now, there's a question of like when he'd really even be able to start, whether he'd have that much say over the technical regulations going into 2026. But he could also potentially they could have a system there where they can actually develop in season, because currently Aston Martin's just been like, they started okay and then it's just all down from there. They haven't been able to really like bring upgrades that have been particularly effective, which maybe he can contribute to that. But you think Aston Martin becomes a player?
I think as long as Lance Stroll's in that car, they're fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
I think as long as I don't know, I think you need, in order to, I mean, it's one thing to be Red Bull, right? And you have a great car and you have a great program and you're this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Then you can just be like, yeah, we just have Max. That's fine.
Right.
But I think in order to push that team forward, you need 2 solid drivers. You need a DC and a Weber, right? To sort of like, you need 2 solid fucking drivers that are pushing each other out of the wilderness, and then like 2 experienced good drivers. And then, once you're really fast, then I guess you can have Vettel just take over or Max just take over or whatever. But I think in order to, in order to get there.
You want two drivers who can really push the thing, which is what,
and push each other,
which is what we'll get to the situation. At Williams, they maybe have that now. That's what James Vowles is saying, that's what they have set up there. Yeah, certainly with Lance Stroll there, I don't think that's really a reality. With Yuki Tsunoda, however,
well, I think if you had Alonso and Yuki, that's a driver lineup. That's
a solid driver lineup.
Or if they bring in Antonelli, or if Max goes to Mercedes, all of a sudden you could have George Russell.
Well, then there's also talks where is there maybe a world where Max Verstappen follows the Newey and follows the Honda and follows what has been there as well? Does he all of a sudden, throw his hat into the ring in terms of going to Aston?
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, I think, what's crazy is I think if Lance Stroll didn't exist, I think Aston Martin would have had a real serious, I think they might have been front runners for Carlos Sainz. You could have had a Sainz Alonso lineup.
Yeah, that would have been
Which
fun.
is a better fucking lineup than Albon. Like, he's like, we got the most dangerous lineup in F1 right now. I'm like, no. A more dangerous lineup is that all Spanish fucking lineup.
Also more. I can think of a few other more dangerous lineups, i.e., Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. A bit more dangerous than that. But
Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, pretty dangerous lineup.
Yes, that's a very dangerous lineup as well. But we on the Patreon we did a review of the first episode of Max's documentary, and Max has this team, VerstappenRacing.com, and he has this GT3 car, and in the GT3 car, who's driving it is his dad's best friend, who is also his manager's son.
Yes,
who only has a couple of years' experience in cars.
And they really fetishize, like, this guy's never raced before.
Right.
Look how well he's doing, having driven for 3 years.
And I think it's interesting because when you think about Newey's mindset of, like, maybe I go to Aston Martin, maybe I don't go to a Ferrari that's already had X, Y, or Z success and is already, like, further along and is closer to actually, like, being at the top than where Aston certainly is. I want a project. I want to see how big my muscle can take this thing. How far I can push this thing up the hill. Max Verstappen is literally doing that.
It's like a high school movie where it's like, I'm going to take this nerdy girl and make her prom queen.
Yes,
that's what Max Verstappen on a bet.
It's miscongeniality.
Or Cruel Intentions, or not cruel. Just name a high school movie where it involves like a hot guy being like, I can make this girl the shit.
Right. Yeah. This is the challenge.
What is that movie where he
What
makes
is that
bet?
movie?
It's like with Freddie Prinze Jr. It is She's All That. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yep.
When Zach's famous girlfriend Taylor cheats on him with another boy and parts ways with him, he makes a bet with his friends to turn a socially inept Lainey into their high school's next prom queen.
Right.
And
which is also based off of it's also based off of My Fair Lady, which is another it's a modern adaptation of My Fair Lady. So yeah, they're just trying to fucking.
But of course she's beautiful. They're like, oh, look at her, she's busted. They just threw glasses on her in the front dress.
Dude, it's Princess. It's what's it called? Genovia. It's with Anne Hathaway.
Oh, Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries. She's a fixer-upper. They're going. It's going to be one of those makeover scenes in a movie where the dresses are flying out of the thing, and then all of a sudden, like the mirrors part, and
I had a
it's a car with downforce.
I had a babysitter from Honduras, and she would religiously, like, I didn't decide what was on TV. She would just watch like Telemundo all day,
right?
And Univision.
Yep. Yeah.
And her favorite show was the show, and I couldn't speak a word of Spanish, but I would watch it with her. It was called Betty La Fea. And it was like, Ugly Betty.
Ugly Betty. Yeah.
But it was based on Betty La Fea, and it was like
I see.
the most beautiful. She was gorgeous, and they put braces on her and glasses, and like
Right.
and the series finale, they took them all off, and it's like, oh, she's a 10, but like you knew she was
Right.
But I don't know if Aston Martin is Aston Martin. Right. I think it might take a little more work than that.
How hot is Aston Martin actually? You know what I mean? Because I think maybe what we're seeing here is that Newey didn't want like beautiful Anne Hathaway with just frizzy hair. You know what I'm saying? Oh,
she just needed a blowout.
Hey, guess what? Give her a blowout. Exactly. And she's
Take
all
her
of a sudden
glasses
she's Anne Hathaway. Take the glasses off, give her a blowout, and then she's fucking all of a sudden she's gorgeous. How?
No,
like,
he wants to be on the Swan.
Yes.
Do you remember the Swan? That was the most fucked up show of all time. They would just like bring in people that were who hated the way they looked, and they're like, do everything to me. Give me every plastic surgery there is under the and then they couldn't look at themselves. They were like in seclusion for like the entire process, and then at the end they would show them a mirror.
Jesus Christ.
You don't remember the Swan?
No, I never watched that.
It was the most fucked up show of all time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Newey's out here just trying to fucking swan motherfuckers. And, and maybe Max wants to go there too. Maybe I think that when you've reached the top, you kind of say, like, how great can I be? What can I... Not necessarily just, like, let me go to the best place. Like, sometimes you're like, what can I do to make it the best place?
I tried this game, Brian, Elden Ring. It's like this nerdy fucking. I was like, you know what? Let me just give myself some time to myself and play Xbox. And I was like, what's the most popular Xbox game? Elden Ring. It was like fucking impossible. I like quit. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Yeah. Like I can't do it. And then I look at YouTube tutorials, and there are motherfuckers that have like beaten the game. Like they've already beaten the game, so they're like, all right, I'm gonna go back and like beat it. But like instead of having armor, I'll just be naked with a stick.
Yeah.
And I won't take any damage the whole game. Like you go like no damage. Like that means nobody touches you the whole game.
Right.
And it's like that's like Max and Newey, they've already beaten the game so many times that they're like, what's the worst I can beat this game? What is the worst build I can do and beat this game with?
Totally.
And here I am with my samurai armor and samurai sword and like the best starting build. And I'm like getting fucking killed by rats.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've beaten this to death, but
everyone gets it. Yeah, I think that's what they maybe want to do. And there's the other piece of news coming out of Red Bull is that Jonathan Wheatley. This is official news. This is British approved news.
This was news that was broken in the English language.
English language, Sky Sports and BBC have reported on it, which means it's real. Jonathan Wheatley, who is famous for getting on the newer radio. Fans, for the guy who was on the radio, to Michael Massey.
I don't know why they don't let guys do that anymore. That was awesome.
Yeah, that rocked.
We live such
integrity of the sport. Shut the
fuck up. No. They were mad because Wheatley was so good at fucking emotionally manipulating Michael Massey. They're like, you can't call the refs anymore. It's like, dude, that's what coaches do. That's what they're doing. They're jawing at the refs.
Yeah, now
get new refs, dude.
Now they just have to do it to their drivers.
Yeah,
Lando, think of every Sunday morning.
Yeah,
every Sunday morning, Lando. Jonathan Wheatley, who was kind of Christian's right-hand man, was kind of maybe when there was those rumors that Christian was maybe going to be out, he was maybe the first in line to take over. He's been apparently wanting to, step into a higher role, and so he's joined Audi, which makes it now Binotto and Jonathan Wheatley.
Do you think he got it? Do you think when Newey was going? Sorry, do you think when Christian was going through the stuff and they were like, he's gone. Wheatley's going to replace him. You think that kind of got him excited? It was like, it got him excited. It got him starting to think about himself as team principal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably like been on his mind for a bit, and then it became like really in focus, earlier this year. Vankas, not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do things that you love, like going to an F1 race. Boobies! Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App was just a way to send people money, right? You just send people money. Hey, cash at me. Okay, I got you. But actually, it's a faster and simpler way to bank. You can start saving with as little as $1 with no hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no account fees. Minimum balance requirements is crazy. It's just like, let me live. And Cash App lets you do that. And we all know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you can get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. It pays to get paid on Cash App. So go download the app today. Now back to the show. So now we got Mattia Binotto, who's the Sauber. He's the COO and CTO. Wheatley, who is the team principal and management spokesperson. Which is what they said. They said that's in his title description, which is hilarious.
It means Binotto is not talking to people anymore. That's what that
exactly. Means. Which is a great idea because Binotto should not be talking to anyone. Yes. And then there's Audi. There's Adam Baker, who's the Audi Formula Racing CEO. So this is, and then they all report to Gernot Dollner, who is the board of directors in Sauber Group, the chairman of the board. Yeah. So Wheatley is now going to be like, he's going to be the face of it. When Audi's kind of talking, he's going to be the guy. He's also going to be, in charge of what's happening like on track. Binotto's going to be in charge of what's happening off track in terms of, the engines, in terms of the technical side of things. And I got to say,
that also includes the pit stops and just everything running smoothly, the strategy, I'm sure.
That's Wheatley.
All the stuff, all the operational stuff that Ferrari was never good at.
Yes.
So, and Red Bull's always been great at.
That's the stuff that Red Bull's great at. And so now I'm like, this is like the Avengers team that's happening over there. I'm like, this is a good team. Like Audi, this is a good team.
Well, they haven't. Well, can we reserve judgment till they get their second driver?
Right.
Who's their second? I guess it's Bottas.
I think it's going to be Bottas because apparently Bottas and Seidel were the people that Seidel hated Bottas.
Yes.
And that was Bottas, the tension there.
And now Bottas is he's like the guy with the in the office with the stapler that everybody forgot about.
Uh-huh.
And that they meant to fire him and they just forgot. And he's just kind of outlasted everybody.
Yeah.
My stapler.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, what are you going to hire? You're going to hire a rookie? It's like, no, you need two experienced drivers. You want to get the most out of your car every weekend. And Bottas they might not like him. They might not be thrilled. They're probably pissed off that they didn't get Carlos Sainz. But at the end of the day, Bottas is the best that's out there.
You'd rather have Bottas than a Liam Lawson?
Liam Lawson does make it interesting.
That's who they were kind of eyeing, I think.
He is interesting. That is interesting because I don't know. What would you rather have? Who would you rather have?
I kind of know what I'm getting with Bottas, and I don't know what I'm getting with Liam. Could be better, could be worse.
Yeah.
So
we've certainly seen that. We got we got a bigger sample size with Liam than we did with Ollie Behrman and we did with Nick de Vries, but it was still a pretty small sample size. Still 5 races.
I just would like to see Liam in a seat, so I would say, yeah, Bottas had a good run. Let's put Liam in the seat.
Yeah, I mean, to throw what Guenther would say, because now we've learned a little bit from Guenther, it's like, how motivated is Bottas? Is he really, I think that's a key with these kinds of things.
I think the best thing for Bottas actually would be to take a year or two off, like Hülkenberg. Fall back in love with the sport. Come back. Because he's just been grinding away. He was ground down he was a very hot driver, Williams. He was ground down by a machine that was too good. He was ground down at the top by Mercedes. Right. Now he's being ground down at the bottom by Sauber. He's kind of lived both extremes.
Right.
And I think he could benefit from a break like Hulk got.
Right.
And kind of be reinvigorated and maybe come back in the middle somewhere.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, and we certainly know that Liam Lawson is very fucking motivated.
He's very motivated, very hungry.
Yeah. And now there's some talks around, Marco's been thrown his weight into that Sergio. He's been quoted saying Sergio's the best. Sergio's the best we have right now.
I think there were rumors that Daniel was in there for. There were rumors that Daniel was totally in there for Zandvoort, and that they got cold feet something happened. They got cold feet at the last minute. Like there might have even been mistaken press. That like Daniel, like there was some thing I saw on Twitter where like some Dutch like press release was happening. Like Daniel's so excited to be joining. Like they had it all fired up and ready, and then they pulled it back at the last minute. Because for some reason, can you explain it to me, Brian? Why can't it's like I wanna do Christian and Perez, and I wanna put their faces on a cut. I used to do this to varying degrees of success, where I'd put like memes of other people's faces. I'd put the names of the people's faces on the. Like in a movie, like after like I would do like Fernando Alonso on Javier Bardem's face on No Country for Old Men as he's like limping away from a burning car, and I'm like, this was totally Fernando at the USGP, right? I would do that. I kind of want to do that for Christian. I want to put Christian Horner's name on Jake Gyllenhaal's face, and Sergio Perez's name on Heath Ledger's face. Or maybe I forgot the one who says, "I wish I knew how to quit you."
Oh, right.
Who said? Was it Jake? Was it Jake?
I think.
Or was it he? I think it was Jake.
I think Heath Ledger says, "I wish I knew how to quit you."
Okay, so Christian Horner got it back. Christian Horner is Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Is Perez. And
right.
Christian's like, "I wish I knew how to quit you."
I wish I knew how contractually we were able to quit you, because I guess
contractually they're not. They're contractually able to quit him.
But now, now there's these rumors, right, that Liberty Media pressured the team to keep Perez to maintain ticket sales for the upcoming Mexican GP because of its popularity.
If I'm Red Bull, I'm like, go fuck yourself, Liberty Media. I don't give a shit about your ticket sales, right?
Well, they must have done something to fucking maybe try to sweeten the deal. It's like, well, we're going to lose. Well, they say, well, guess what? We're going to lose this Constructors' Championship because of fucking Checo. And they say, don't worry. We got you.
Really?
We'll make it right.
But if I'm Red Bull, I'm like, go fuck yourself, Liberty Media. That's not my problem. I'm here to win.
Right.
I'm here to win. It could be just as simple as Helmut Marko wants it to happen. I don't know.
He wants what to happen?
Helmut Marko wants Perez gone.
Right. But now he's like,
well, clearly he said in the press he's like, Perez he called it a collapse, I think.
I know, but then recently he says Helmut Marko on why Red Bull stuck with Sergio Perez. With Perez's, this is from Planet F1. Why Perez's performance scarcely contributing towards Red Bull's points score in a championship that is rapidly closing up as McLaren's Super Bowl. While we know all this, there was some reluctance to put either Lawson or Ricciardo into the seat at this point of the season, with neither certain to represent a clear step forward from Perez's performance level. This was backed up by Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko, who wrote about the reasons behind the decision in his column for Speed Week, in which the Austrian said that Red Bull are waiting to see what Perez can produce at upcoming circuits and venues at which he has traditionally performed well, such as Baku and Singapore. Sergio Perez will also be in the Red Bull. I don't know, Mark. Marco's not usually one to fucking like roll something back. The guy doesn't roll shit back.
Well, but here's the thing. Well,
but none of this makes sense. I'm with you. I'm with you that it doesn't make sense.
It's like, okay, it's like we're doing a play, right? We're doing Dirty Dancing, and the guy can't fucking dance. And it's like, yeah, but let's wait till the third act when there's that one song that he can sing, because he can sing.
Right.
And it's like, okay, but you understand that there's 90 other numbers that it's Dirty Dancing. It's Dirty Dancing. I don't care that he can like lift her up that one. Like he's got good upper body strength and he can do I had the time of my got to be able to dance.
Right.
Like being fast in Baku, because here's the thing. What it really is if he does well in Baku and in Singapore and these streety things like worse. Like they just know how the media works.
Right.
And we'll just be like, oh, well, yeah, they were right.
Guys,
they want enough of they have enough of an understanding of how the media works, and all they needed to do is to string together enough good races for him that they'll be like, oh, never mind, they were right, and then to buy him the rest of the year. But I guess I don't know if Liam Lawson in his rookie-ish season or Daniel Ricciardo will be better than Perez.
Right.
But I do know this: they have like. It's just like, what do you do? Like you put yourself out there as having the most robust junior driving program. You have a whole second team kind of devoted to it.
Yeah.
But Daniel Ricciardo being there kind of undermines that, of course.
Yep. And Yuki being for there as long as he has undermines it at this point. Them not being able to fucking do anything with Yuki.
And I get it that, the Cash App is trying to create its own identity, its own beautiful brand.
Of course.
But I think, and they want to be fighting at the front. So I understand having drivers that, are not there for 1 to 2 years, maybe 3 years, but you're creating a real logjam. This guy, Isaac Hadjar, is going to beat Behrman, is going to beat Antonelli, is really like a promising guy. He might have nowhere to go. Liam Lawson proved himself in 5 races to Behrman's 1, and he's got nowhere to go.
Yep.
So, and then they've got this guy, they have another guy, Arvin Lindblad, who's doing well enough. They have good juniors that have got no places to go. So if you're like the next Oscar Piastri at 15 or 14, you're looking at the situation being like, what the fuck?
Right.
So I think that, it's kind of irrelevant. I don't think they're going to do worse. I think they'll do as good or better, and you can free up the logjam.
Right.
But obviously, they know better than I do. What the fuck do I know? I don't have all the details.
Well, there's other factors involved here. Like, at the end of the day, like Checo, like there's rumors that Disney is part of Checo's sponsors, that they've leaned on him to keep him. They're releasing a Disney Plus docu-series called Checo Perez, No Te Rindas Cabrón, Never Give Up.
That's a great title. It's the perfect title. Now,
I mean, fucking A. I mean, like, Checo has these intangibles. Checo's a very valuable asset in this space because of what he brings.
No, I think they are tangibles. I think they are tangibling it.
Yeah, they're literally tangibly. There's literal money involved.
There's tangibles. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just a little too opaque. God damn it. Why don't these guys just tell the truth?
No one tells the truth.
Why don't they just say, look, if they just, like, I don't think anyone would be mad if they were like, look, I don't think Daniel will be faster, and Checo brings in a lot of money. So fuck off. If they said
Daniel
that,
would bring a lot of money too, but it's like they're like, that's Daniel makes sense for that reason.
But if Daniel would bring the same amount of money, then why aren't they making the switch?
Right.
It can only mean that Checo would bring in more money.
I think it means that Checo would bring in more money, and they're not that confident that Daniel would be that much faster necessarily. And I think,
it's got to be that.
And I think that they probably also feel like Liam would bring in so much less money that he better be so much faster. Like he better be so undeniably faster on track that it's like this would be so stupid. Like he better be better than Max Verstappen, which he's a great driver, but he's not. So he has that going against him.
And I guess the idea of like there's also, and this is hard to quantify.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal of Red Bull is actually not to win. It's actually to sell energy drinks.
Right.
And
sometimes winning is what gets you there. Sometimes winning is
sometimes
what's
putting
that.
Checo on the can in North America is what gets you there.
That's what gets you there, baby. And that's what this thing is. That's what this thing is.
It's people because Red Bull has become so synonymous with racing that you forget that it's actually just a fucking drink, and you're trying to sell cans of energy drinks.
Yeah,
And that's the game.
Yep.
That's why when people get mad at like Visa Cash App, I'm like, Red Bull is just a can of, it's a product.
Yeah.
Cash App is a product, a very great,
incredible product.
Incredible product.
Incredible product. There's that you can bank on Cash App. There's more there's more than one way. It's if people thought it was just a way to send people money. Actually, you can bank on Cash App, and they do lots of amazing stuff.
McLaren is a product.
McLaren is a product. These car companies, Aston Martin is a fucking product.
Yeah.
They want to sell Aston Martin cars. They want to sell McLaren cars. AMG
race on Sunday, sell on Monday.
That's right. That's what this whole game is.
Sometimes it's in a showroom. Sometimes it's in my bodega or my 7-Eleven.
That's right.
That's why I fuck with Red Bull. Because at the end of the day, it's a bodega product.
Yeah, for real.
That's why I fuck with Red Bull, because I can get it in a bodega. They're the best team, and you could buy their product in a bodega.
Also, I associate Red Bull with cars because I'll often be drinking Red Bull on a road trip. I will stop in a gas station, and I'm like, I need to fucking be awake and be alert for the next 6 hours of this drive.
Yes.
I need some fucking Red Bull.
Yep. You know what isn't a product, though? Williams.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
What the hell is even that? What the hell is even that?
It's a name. It's a racing name.
It's a legendary brand it's a family company now owned by a venture capital equity, whatever the fucking Doralton Capital, which sounds like a made up evil business name.
Yeah. I mean,
well, it's like, we got to, they're heavy, it's like Jason Bourne has to kill his way to the top to get to the guys at Doralton Capital,
Yeah. Yeah.
Played by Brian Cox. He's the CEO.
Truly.
It's like almost as evil sounding as BlackRock.
Totally.
Anyway, sorry, continue, Brian.
Well, I was just saying, but on the Dorlington Capital thing, there's a big thing that says Williams, and then you go through the office and you say, hey,
I wonder why Williams never responds to our emails.
But then you go around and you say, hey, is there anyone with the last name Williams here? And then they say, well, there's Tom in accounting, but he's not part of the family. No one from the actual family is still there. It's name only. That's just what it is. But listen, James Vowles has pulled off the fucking heist. He's pulled off the heist of the season. He has got Carlos Sainz signed to a multi-year deal at Williams. Now, listen, we talked to Guenther. Guenther, upon just hearing about this, Guenther, first off, at the beginning said, there's no way that this is happening. This is just fucking, like, yeah, okay, for sure. But now it has happened. James Vowles has worked his way and made it happen. Now, what Guenther said was that what he suspects is that Carlos has lots of outs there. And that...
Yes.
But...
He's letting Carlos
But he has lots
of
outs there, and that's what made him want to go there, because he wants to set himself up well for, like, if shit's moving around, that he can hop to a different team, and maybe Audi didn't want to give him so many options. And
Carlos went to Audi, and he said, look, I believe in ethical non-monogamy. And Audi was like, nah, I can't do that. I cannot do that.
I saw a thing that said, I saw a thing on TikTok, and it was like someone crying, and then they're like, when I found out that like I was polyamorous and my partner wasn't. Like when I got broken up with because I was polyamorous and my partner wasn't, and it's just like, you cheated. You just found an amazing new way to say that you cheated, that yes. I was polyamorous, but my partner wasn't.
And they were this prudish person that was committed to me exclusively.
That was trying to fucking
kink shame
hold
me
down and
trying to kink shame me with their with their commitment.
Exactly. So that's what Guenther said. That's been our going thing. Now, James Vowles has been in the press. He was on Formula One Nation, the podcast, and he
really
was saying,
likes to suck his own dick in the most cringe way possible.
He does.
He loves the news cycle. He's like, okay, I signed Carlos Sainz. That's amazing. Now let me tell people how I did it.
Yes.
Like, let me just let me just suck my own dick for a second. Like, this shit only works if you're like Kanye West, where it's like, people are wondering, like, what I would have done if I hadn't won.
If I didn't win, yeah.
I guess we'll never know. Right?
Yeah.
That's
but as
awesome.
you see with Kanye West, that shit fucking catches up with you. And it fucking rocks when you're crushing it. But that
but he was Red Bull for a while at least.
For sure.
This guy is like a Rizless Kanye. This guy is like a Rizless Kanye who's never had a platinum record.
Dog, he has the Riz. He's got something, dude. He signed Carlos Sainz.
Dude, can we read what he said? Because it just sounds like,
yes,
it sounds like that guy who was in the friend zone for a long time and just persisted. Yeah. Listened to all of her shit.
Yep.
Like, heard about all the boyfriends that, were better looking than he was, that fucked her so, how good the sex was, but like how they didn't listen, but he listened. He
was me in middle school. On AIM. biding your time, just hoping against hope that you'd have that growth spurt. And then, but we don't know. It remains to be seen if that growth, like, he's telling people that he's had a growth spurt on AIM. Right.
You actually made it to 5'11 and a half or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Is he going to make it to 5'11? Or is he telling everybody he's made it to 5'11, but like he's catfishing everybody?
Right. That is the big question with James Vowles, is that he's selling a dream over chat, and then you're going to meet him in real life, aka the Williams team.
James Vowles has been taking all this abuse, being like, "Well, I got a huge dick."
Yes.
And you're going to see it in 2026, 2027. Yes. It's going to be huge.
Yes.
It's going to break the back of F1. And what's so great is we'll find out.
We will find out just how big his metaphorical dick is.
We'll find out. And
now, to continue with this metaphor, what the Carlos Sainz signing kind of implies is that he took Carlos Sainz into the back room and showed him
the dick.
And then Carlos Sainz said, "All right, guys, I co-sign."
Or did he just describe it frequently and enough times?
Yeah, unclear, because we're still going off of fucking potential. We're still going off of it's a grower, not a shower. You know what I'm saying?
Or did he send him a dick pic and it was like he found the right lens, the right angle, the right lighting?
Right.
We don't know.
Which seems to be James Vowles' skill, is that he can work the fucking angles.
Yes.
He knows how to frame a thing, and he knows how to do X, Y, and Z. Now, to get off of dick metaphors, because that whole thing has been a metaphor. It's a metaphor. Maybe it might have gone over your head because we're pretty smart. But he has also kind of insisted that it's not it's a committed deal, that Carlos has bought in. And what he said to Carlos apparently was, this is what, from James's mouth, is I don't want, if you're just in it for a pit stop, if you're in it just for 1 year and then to hop ship, and this has been great, but that's not what I'm here for. And I want someone who's committed to what we're building here. And Carlos said yes. So that's what James is saying the agreement is, which goes against Guenther's, impression of what it could be. Now, who knows what this fucking thing actually looks like? But that's what James is saying.
James is saying, I unless it's real, I can only fuck if I'm in love.
Right.
Not a dick metaphor, but dick adjacent.
Right.
I really don't like James Vowles. I don't know if you guys could tell. The way he talks in fucking second to last place.
Yeah.
The guy Alumi Bravi or whatever the fuck his name was. Something the guy, I never heard of him once and now he's gone.
Yep.
This Albertine principal.
Vankas, this episode is brought to you by Ricky Canned Cocktails. It's a premium spirit-based drink, 7% alcohol in a can, 1.5 shots per can. It's the perfect drink for this summer because it has been hot. And when it's hot, you need something refreshing. And that's why I've been drinking a bunch of the Ricky Canned Cocktails. I've been loving the vodka with a splash of black cherry. I'm not usually a big vodka guy, but this one, it just tastes right. Also, if you like more tequila, they also have a tequila with a splash of lime. Super good, super refreshing, and at 7%, it's that perfect sweet spot where you're not going to get too buzzed, but you don't have to drink a bunch of them to feel anything. So that's why you gotta get some Ricky this summer. And you can check them out at rickyspirits.com. And if Ricky isn't available in your area, hit request Ricky. It's 3 simple ingredients, low calorie, no added sugar, not overly carbonated. It's an award-winning vodka tequila. You can taste the high quality in spirits with a splash of fruit and sparkling water. Go get Ricky today. It's like High Noon, but better, less sweet, and more alcohol per can. Let's see. Well, speaking of, sex and dick metaphors, let's get out of the metaphor thing. There's a rumor that OnlyFans is about to become a major Alpine sponsor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I want. You know what OnlyFans wants. Think about how much traffic would go to the Pierre Gasly OnlyFans.
Well, I don't know if
speaking
you had to choose...
of, he is our friend. He's basically our friend, talking about how big his dick is.
That's true. Oh yeah, talk about Mr. Tripod over there.
Mr. Tripod.
But no, Pierre Gasly would, if there was a driver who would do OnlyFans, who would want to do OnlyFans, it's Pierre Gasly. In terms of drivers who would of course, the most popular drivers would do the best, but like, who would be like the best content creator on OnlyFans of the F1 drivers? Pierre's at probably the top.
Lando Norris like understands the female gaze, I think, like no one else. Yeah, so I think he would probably, and he just like, look at his Instagram. He takes the best selfies. Alex Albon would have a great OnlyFans. He also kind of understands the accessible, like, look at me just living my cute life.
Valtteri Bottas would be so weird. Obviously,
his would kill, but
it would be a very different audience. It'd be selling different things. He would be,
I think Leclerc's would weirdly suck.
Leclerc's would be bad.
Leclerc, I'm beautiful man, but I think it would be bad. Yeah, like feel free to weigh in on the comments. I think George Russell's would probably be my favorite. I would subscribe to George Russell's OnlyFans for sure.
I feel like George Russell would just be like kind of like scantily clad and drinking tea and like telling bedtime stories.
I love that.
Can't you just? Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's bad. Or, like, can't you imagine like a naked George Russell with his legs crossed, sipping tea, and like, reading a bedtime story to you?
Yes.
I'd pay good fucking money for that.
Esteban
Ocons would be bad.
Esteban's would be bad.
I think that K-Mag and Nico should have a tandem one. They're both kind of selling the same thing. They think they could go further together.
I mean, everyone got their hair confused in the face mash. They're like, Nico? K-Mag? Yeah. Which one? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Ricardo's would be amazing.
Yuki would just be a crazy mukbang.
Yeah.
Yuki's would just be him stuffing his face full of food. And that would kill.
That would kill.
Don't people just like eat a lot on certain accounts?
Yeah, but hey, you can do it with anything. OnlyFans it's whatever your fucking imagination desires and can service. Yeah, so
I think Lando Norris would crush.
Yeah, Lando would definitely do well.
And based on like the amount of like people that like clipped our Nicole Piastri interview, like Oscar.
Well, people would be clamoring for Oscar. I don't know. I don't think Oscar would be particularly enthused with doing. I think. I don't think that's where his he wants to put his energies. Yeah, they're apparently currently in negotiations that starting in 2025, OnlyFans may become a new sponsor for the Alpine F1 team, replacing BWT. That's like a title sponsor.
What is
Huge.
BWT?
I think it's water. I think we looked this up before. I think it's water.
Different kind of liquid happening with OnlyFans, but equally important.
Everything's ultimately based on, it's all water-based at the end
It's
of the
all
day,
water-based at the end of the day. I can't. I mean, how many of the Nicole Piastri fans have we lost in this follow?
In other news, dude, Guenther Steiner.
What about him?
Kind of breaking the internet.
Oh, yeah, he did the Apple dance.
He did the fucking Charlie XCX.
You work so hard to create a show with somebody and think about, like, what are the best questions we can ask him? How can we deepen our relationship, get the best answers?
What do the fans want to know? What do they want to hear from Guenther?
Yeah, right.
These are the things that we spend
every week.
Tons of time thinking about. How can we provide the Guenther's fans with the things that they want to see from him and hear from him?
Yep. Like the Formula One things, right?
Right.
And then where's the dance at? Where's the dance at?
It's at 5 million.
Yeah, it's just like that makes you want to quit. Just makes you want to quit.
Then Greta's just like, Dad, let's just do this and
just
fucking.
I was taken, but I was taken with how into it he was.
This is the most I've seen him smile maybe ever. In this 15-second dance.
I think maybe he's a dancer because he felt like it awakened something in him, and he has kind of a dancer's body. Like, we have a friend who loves to dance, Jage. Who's got the long arms and the long legs, and if you put it together, it's kind of fun to watch a limmy person dance.
It's all about the limbs. A lot of dancing. Now he's got to get a little bit more fluid with it, but he's got the frame.
Yeah, he's got the frame to be an interesting kind of. I don't know if he's doing ballet, but he could definitely do like avant-garde type dancing.
Yeah, some modern dance.
He's doing like lyrical modern dance.
Dude, get him in some fucking Martha Graham, Pina Bausch. I'd love to see Guenther.
His long, big hands. Like, he could just do finger dancing, dude. His hands are so expressive.
I would love to see Guenther do a Pina Bausch piece, dude.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I remember I knew a kid at school that like was a dancer, but he didn't do like. He did like weird avant-garde shit, and he was skinny and army, and he wasn't like that other kid.
Is this our mutual friend?
That guy is like this guy's built like an athlete.
Yeah.
Mike is built like an athlete. This guy was like long and limmy and androgynous, and
right.
And he would do all these. He would do like dances in like. He would do like art installation dances.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's where Guenther's dancing. Guenther's doing something with God damn it, what's her name? Fuck.
Marina Abramovich,
and what's her face? The actress. God damn it.
Oh, Tilda Swinton.
Gosh. Tilda Swinton. How did you know, dude?
Dude, well, of course.
Him and Tilda. Guenther and Tilda need to do a dance together. Didn't she just like sleep in an installation once?
Yeah, she just like slept for like 72 hours. She just like would sleep and then be up and then sleep, and it was like for like a 72 hours, something like that.
That's awesome. I would like to watch. People would pay to watch Guenther sleep in a little box like Tilda.
Totally, that'd be quite the career shift. But I think it's sitting there waiting for him if he wants it. If he doesn't want to keep doing the podcast, he can always pivot to that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
He was the opposite of our boy, one of my favorite actors ever, Idris Elba.
Yes.
You show me the give me my money.
Yeah.
He was like, he was like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is so stupid. I hate this.
Yeah, that also did numbies.
Yeah, but
Idris
who knew
Elba
that
hating doing the trend versus Guenther like being literally so happy doing the trend.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's there's an interesting dynamic where it's just like when you have like a teenage kid that at a certain point you're just like, I gotta like, let's relate. Like, okay, fine, let's do the dance. Hey, we'll do the dance. Like, this is good. This is bonding time.
Yeah.
Guenther is brat, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Guenther is brat.
What are the things you do with your girlfriend? You're like, I guess this is something that my girlfriend likes to do. I don't really get it, but...
Well, when I look at her TikTok feed, I'm like, none of this interests me, like, at all.
Yes.
You know? And she feels the same way about me.
Yeah.
My feed. Guenther's brat. We released a bunch of brat shirts on the Red Flags pod with every driver's name and is brat. So whoever you think is brat, you can buy. But who do you think of in the F1 paddock, who's giving most brat?
Who's giving most brat? You know, Lando would have been the front runner for having a brat girl summer.
Yes.
But now he's having a Phoebe Bridgers kind of summer, it feels like.
Yes.
He's having a boy genius summer, I would say.
Yes.
Boy genius have teamed up inside of him and are singing the saddest song you've ever fucking heard.
Yeah.
Who's having a brat girl summer? Oscar just won a race. His mom is fucking flaming him on our podcast. Oscar's having a bratty summer. Who's just like loving their life?
Well, it's just
everyone seems stressed. Everyone seems stressed except for, I mean, Yuki Tsunoda. He's re-signed. He's coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yuki seems unbothered.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. It's kind of tough because like Max is stressed, Leclerc is stressed, Lewis Hamilton is like, did I make the wrong decision? Like, I don't know. Winning was bittersweet. Like even Oscar's winning was bittersweet. Winning, like Lando's got the fastest car, but he's like not quite capitalizing on it.
But dude, part of being brat, I mean, that album is not just her being like loving life. That album is her being like, I fucking like I'm stressed out about. I'm always comparing myself to you. That's so Lando. I mean, Lando is to me is like he kind of embodies brat.
But there's a fun messiness to it.
Well, and guess what? There was a fun messiness to Lando up until about a couple weeks ago, and now it's not fun.
I mean, Yuki is always fun,
Oscar's kind of brat. Yuki's kind of brat, but also Guenther's brat.
Guenther's brat. Let's go down the list here. Nico Hulkenberg, brat. Loving his life.
Yeah.
Loving his life, just fucking outperforming that car. Happy as fuck. Everyone's talking about it. He's the song of the summer, really, when you think about it. Don't you think?
I mean, kind of. I wouldn't say he's the song of the summer. I'd say that he's on the charts. No one is expecting anything from him.
Who is like having like a fucking just a? Yeah, you're right. I mean, just
all relative. He's having an amazing summer. Kind of like Charlie, because Charlie was kind of off the beaten path, and then then all of a sudden she's thrown her hat into the ring. And now she's a top dog. She's entering into she's approaching being like top dog territory,
but in an effortless kind of way. It's got to be effortless. I think Oscar is effortless. Yuki's kind of effortless.
Yeah.
Nico's kind of, he's not really a hot mess, but he's effortless.
George.
I don't know. George got that win taken away. I mean, he's a hot mess, dude.
He's definitely a hot mess.
George is a hot mess.
I mean, and he is a brat at the end of the day. He might not be brat, but he is a brat. That's for sure. He's a brat that I love. Yeah. All right, weigh in the comments. Who in the F1 paddock is brat? Fred Vasseur is kind of brat.
Yeah. Yeah, Fred Vasseur is brat.
Totally. Total Wolff.
Total Wolff. No, but he's turned the car around. He's feeling himself.
Well, that's true, but Total Wolff is not brat.
All right.
Total Wolff he's Taylor Swift.
Amazing.
We're just trying to keep you guys entertained during this break, during this time off. So we got more coming. Hopefully a couple more interviews. And, the season's coming back relatively soon. So we'll be
yeah, we'll have shit to talk about. We'll have shit to talk about. I mean, we had Nicole Piastri on the podcast. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, are you not
stick with us?
This is what we call. This is what we like to call in the biz a victory lap. All right, we love you, Vankas.
Goodbye, Vankas.